I'm going to refresh pages here to make sure we're all in. You know the drill, people. We just have a couple awkward silences before we go live. Where in the world? Where's my platform? What are we talking about today? Platforms. Live video. Okay, so it looks like here we are. A few people in already. Peter is liking it. Peter can hear me. Robin can hear me. She says hello. Joan from Bakersfield. Matt says hello, love. Governor. So I'm trying to find my note. Where in the world did my note go? Because this would be a little trickier if I don't have any notes. But that's okay. We'll we'll plow through either way. Again, what are we talking about? Platforms? We're talking about platforms. And if I can find my... I cannot. Building off the plan. Well, I'm not sure why that's not showing up, but hey, live and learn, right? Who we got in here? Gentry's with us. Hello, Gentry. Self-publishing with Dale. What a weird name. Is your first name self-publishing or? I'm just kidding. Yeah. All right, I'm gonna do something weird. Hold on one sec. I'm gonna change this, and I'm gonna look for my notes because I'm not seeing this. I'm still here, everyone. I'm just trying to make sure I don't know why this isn't showing up on my computer. I've got it on my phone. It's working fine. There it is. Okay. All right, here we go. Back to work. Isn't that pretty cool? My phone is my camera. Bet you didn't know I could do that. You probably all know I can do that because I do it every time. Okay, so here we are. Make sure my camera comes back to the live stream. David Thatcher Wilson, Fort Lauderdale, one of the best forts I know of. And Mr. Withdale, yeah. Dale Roberts, Mr. Withdale. Robin asked, she didn't realize phones have cameras. I know, it's pretty crazy, this technology that we have access to these days. Pretty incroyable, which is Spanish for incredible. No, I'm just kidding. I know, I'm being awkward, guys, because I'm just making sure we've got people coming in. I can see you. You can see me. We've got a few more we're waiting on. But have no fear. The awkwardness, actually, it's going to stay awkward. I'm just going to go ahead and say it. I'm going to make sure that this is terribly awkward the whole time. But I found my note, which is going to make things a lot better because as much as I like to think I can talk extemporaneously on any possible subject, the truth is I do a lot better if I have these notes in front of me. So thanks for joining us. If you can see me, I can see you. And if you can hear me, I cannot hear you. But there is a comment thread that I'm watching as we go. If you're new to this and haven't seen this, then here's what's going to happen. I'm going to talk, and I'll try to look at this. I'll try to look at you. And I'm going to talk about platforms, and this is a big one for me because this is my background. This is my whole career basically. But anyway, I'm going to talk, and I'll go on, and I'll ramble, and I'll just kind of be awkward. Thanks, Jess. And you leave a comment if you hear something that is like, hey, that's a good thing to remember. What this is engagement. It's not just about me and hearing my voice, guys. I want to see you engage because that means that it's clicking, right? That means that it's working. That means that you're getting something out of this. But more importantly, is that your comment could help someone else. your comment here could actually lead someone else to a conclusion that they may not have gotten just by listening to me. Does that make sense? So I would love for you to, as I'm talking, as I'm going through this, drop the wisdom nugget that you have. Don't be afraid to to share, even if it's not something I've said. If it's a wisdom nugget, it's probably not something I've said. It's probably something that you thought of. You're brilliant. You're genius. I want to see that because there's other people that may want to see that. I hope that makes sense. I'm rambling on purpose, so I'm going to wait till 10 minutes after, and then we'll get going. All right, so we got a couple more minutes here, waiting for people to come in. If you are new, this is a Thursday thing. We're just going to say it's a thing. It's happening every week. If you missed a bunch, well, sorry. We'll be back, though. Don't worry. We've got a list of topics, and if you have an idea for what we should do here, again, drop it in the comment or reach out to me. Just let me know. I'm keeping a list, kind of an ongoing list here. This means my computer, so if you see me do this, I'm looking at my computer. And I've got a list on my computer. The files are in the machine. And yeah, we're gonna talk about some different stuff. This will be every Thursday this time, and we will get into things that are helpful for you as an author, as a fiction author specifically. So if you're writing nonfiction, especially today, this will be helpful for you. But this whole world that I'm trying to build here, this book career in a year thing, it's really targeted to fiction authors, and even within that, genre fiction or commercial fiction. Specifically, when I use that term, what I mean specifically is fiction that is in a particular genre that is considered commercial, so not literary, even though that's commercial. It's kind of a weird definition, but maybe I should find a different one. Not literary, not poetry, not comic books. I'm talking about fiction that is in a genre like sci-fi, fantasy, romance, mystery, thriller, detective, spy-fi. I heard that one the other day. It's kind of cool. Romance. If you're writing in one of those big buckets, in one of those fiction genres, all of this is for you. All right? I'm building this because I am one of you. Okay, I write mystery, thriller, spy-fi. I do this, and I've done this for a while. And I kind of alluded to this at the beginning. My career, my background was in marketing, is in marketing and building platforms specifically. And so this is all kind of near and dear to my heart. But I've used all of the things that I'm going to teach you, either on this live stream, this call, or in the future in the group and anything else that we've got. There's some cool stuff that I can't even talk about. All of this is for you. And I'm going to use all this stuff that I'm teaching you in my own career. Okay, makes sense? All right, cool. Intro done. Let's dive into platforms because I want to make sure we can cover this and have some time for Q&A. If you're just joining us, welcome in. Drop a comment. Let me know where you're from. Let me know where you're watching from if it's different. And I'm glad you're here. This is going to be a good deep dive into building an author platform. As you probably know by now, I like to start with some definitions to make sure that we're all on the same page. Because what I call platform may not be what you've heard before. It might be, but it might not be. And so I want to make sure that, when I say the word platform, I mean something specific. Fair? And so we're going to start with some definitions, and then we're going to dive into some reasons, some problems that we face, and how platform can help solve those problems. And then why we should be focusing on building platforms as opposed to other things we could talk about, as opposed to other things we can focus on. All right, and then we'll get into how to actually do this, some practical stuff, some like actual tips and tricks and help and things like that. And then, of course, questions, answers at the end. So if you have a question as we go, drop it in the comments. I'll try my best to see it. I may not answer it right away, but I will see it at the end, hopefully, and get back to it. Or you can always just re-comment later. Totally fine. Facebook doesn't charge me by the comment, so drop them in there. All right, so platforms, man. This is a big one because I think we, meaning humans, now are pretty familiar with the internet, and we're pretty familiar with certain things, certain words like influencer or platform or website, and we have this idea of what they are already. So this is why I like to start with definitions, because when I say those words, I don't mean influencer like, Kardashians. Are those still people? I'm not talking about that. When I say platform, I don't mean like the shoe or just like, hey, just a website. I'm actually defining a platform in a very specific way, okay? But here's the problem. Let me kind of start there. Here's the problem we have with platforms. Authors, specifically, again, the kind that I'm talking about, genre fiction authors, we kind of have this idea that we know what to do or what we should be doing in terms of online platform building, right? We kind of know, like, okay, we got to have a website. I probably should have a mailing list. I probably should set up a Facebook page so people can like me and poke me and all that stuff. We just don't really know, or at least we don't understand the glue, if you will, holding it all together. Does that make sense? We know that we need to have a website. We know that we need to have all these different things out there pointing back to the website, or even, the other way around, our website points to them. We need to have the mailing list. We need to have all this stuff that we've built online, and collectively we kind of call that our platform. But again, if there's no glue holding that platform, that duct taped ball of online stuff together, it's not a platform. It's just a ball of stuff that's duct taped together, right? So the platform really is the glue, and I'm going to get more specific, so don't worry. I'm going to get there. Trust me. I just want to make sure that we're on the same page. So when I say platform for authors, what I'm talking about is this centralized hub online for all of our online activities. Everything we do as an author starts and ends on our platform. Okay, so we want to do Facebook ads. We want to do, build a Twitter profile. We want to engage with other authors to market our books together. All of that stuff is like an outpouring of something that should exist online, and that thing is our platform. So I'm not really doing a good job getting into this because I'm trying to just go slow and make sure that we're all on the same page. So let me just give a definition here, point blank, straightforward. A platform is the online home base for everything that we do. All right, it's the home base. And this term comes from a book I wrote a long time ago, actually before I even had a full-time career writing fiction. Again, I was in marketing and I was building a platform online. And I was thinking about this a lot. And it ironically coincided with the launch of a much more famous person at the time. I'm hopefully catching up to him now, named Michael Hyatt, who wrote a book called Platform. Get Noticed in a Noisy World, I think is the subtitle. And it's a good book. He does a good job explaining some of the same stuff. He gets a little bit into the technical side, which I liked. But I still like my definition better. I think a platform is a home base. And I put this in a book that I originally had called Welcome Home. And it was for authors. It was for, nonfiction, really, bloggers and things like that. But it was for authors. And I still like that term. I still think it makes the most sense because the idea was, at the time when I was writing this, I think I used this metaphor or this analogy of imagine your home is, you own it, or the bank owns it and lets you live in it, whatever. It's your home though. You get to do with it whatever, you get to do whatever you want with it, right? You get to control how it looks and how it's decorated and the chairs and tables inside. And then you invite people into your home, right? You invite people to come into your space. You control it completely. Now, if you go meet that person at lunch somewhere, or you met them at a church group, whatever, and you're talking to them and everything, you can still have that relationship with them. But those things, the other stuff that you're doing, are outposts, whereas your home base is your home. That makes sense? We all know what a home is. So online, our platform is our home base, and it's our online version of our home. We control it. We own it. No one can take it from us. If you don't pay taxes, I guess you can people take your home away. But you get the point. And all the other things where you can also engage somebody, like a reader, is considered an outpost. So when I use these terms, platform, I mean home base. Same thing. And if you hear me say the term outpost, that's what I'm talking about. So your home base is your platform online. Your platform is your home base online. And your outposts are all the things that are not your home base. So just to get into the home base definition a little bit more, for an author specifically, there are 4 things that I believe your platform is. It is centralized, okay? And I've kind of said this already. It's where things start and end. For all of your online activities. It starts and ends at your home base. In a way, start and end just means if you're going to do something, your home base is the launching point for that thing. And if you have nowhere else to point people, if you're engaging in an ad or something like that, or social media linking, you can point back to your home base. Okay, so it's centralized. Things start and end there. It's a launching point. I just said that. It's a great place to launch your books from. Meaning, when you send people to the internet from an email link that you include in an email, right? You can send them to Amazon directly. You can send them to Facebook. You can do all sorts of things if you want them to buy your book. If you don't want to send them directly to Facebook or Amazon for whatever reason, and we'll get into this, you can send them to your home base, your platform. I feel like I'm not explaining that super well, but we'll just keep going. We'll just keep trucking. We'll get there. I mentioned this. It's wholly owned by you. A platform is something that's owned by you. If you don't own a home, you don't own a home if you don't own the land it's on, in a sense, right? So your website, in the sense of a platform, needs to be something that you own. Okay, so if you got a Squarespace website, a Wix website, WordPress.com, you're having them host your website for you, or .org. I can't remember which one. It's not that can't be a platform, but it is not the perfect version of a platform. It's not the best version of a platform, and the reasons for that are pretty simple. You can't control something if you don't own it, right? So if you imagine building your blog on something like Medium.com, which is an otherwise great tool for building a platform, the problem is you don't own it, and so they can pull the rug out from under you, right? Ditto with, hey, I want to build a platform around my Facebook page. Well, fine, but you don't own it. And it's not about the ownership as much as it's about being able to control what goes on that platform. And if things are going to change, you have no control over that. And I'm not saying that, Facebook is going to come by and just close all the pages and, shut down all the groups or anything. I don't think they'll do that, but they absolutely can and do make changes to how their platform runs. And that can change how you are able to engage with your people. Case in point, you guys are watching me in a group. Well, Facebook over the years has changed how much visibility a certain post or any given post will get. I've heard numbers as low as 6% of people in a group will see a post of mine or yours or anyone else's. 6%. Why? Because they're an ad platform now. They want to sell ads to people. They want to make money from showing other people's content. So I don't own Facebook. If I did, I wouldn't be talking to you guys. I'd be doing more different things probably. But the point is, if I own the platform, then I can control what goes on, right? If you're on my website, I'm telling you what you're gonna see. Does that make sense? Right? Like, it should make sense. Okay. Also, the fourth thing, so it's centralized, it's a launching point, it's wholly owned by you, and then a platform is the default. And I just kind of use it as a catch-all term. It's just the default place to do stuff online, which means everything links to it, everything links from it. It's kind of just always, it's the centralized hub again, so it kind of goes back to the first thing. The reason I'm really belaboring this point of a platform is if we don't have that, or we don't think of our website in terms of a platform, then we don't really have one. We don't really know what to focus on. And this becomes a challenge as we try to do things like advertising or marketing, launching a book, all that stuff, right? So it just gets a little tricky to do things that boost our career if we don't have that focal point for our online presence. I forgot the word. So what is it not? Well, I mentioned the word outposts, and I kind of gave you some examples of that. Anything that we don't own, that's not centralized, or that's not a launching point for us, or that's not the default, is what I consider an outpost. The reason that's important is because it right off the bat, by definition, gives you an idea of what not to focus on as much. Okay, so for example, you guys are watching me in a Facebook group. Well, my online platform, my home base, if you will, is my website, nickthacker.com. And on the nonfiction side, it's bookcareerinayear.com. Well, I'm building those out right now. I'm constantly reworking things and changing things. I just did a huge overhaul of my homepage on both of those places. They're not even close to being done. But the point is, My goal is to have those be the platforms for my fiction and for my nonfiction. NickThacker.com is even kind of my one platform because it links to Book Career in a Year and all the other places. It sort of becomes the online hub because the goal is if I'm thinking in terms of somebody who might want something I can provide, like coaching or author services, or if they're a reader, they want entertainment, they want to read my thrillers, well, they're going to go to my home base. They're going to go to NickThacker.com. Not all the time. They may find an outpost, right? They may find this Facebook group or this Facebook page over here, or the Twitter profile that I hate, anything like that. Those are, again, not my platform because I don't control them. They're decentralized, right? So I need to point people back to the one that I want them to be on. That's all this is. So all those tweets, if you start following me on Twitter and you're, I like what this guy has to say, you're going to find a link eventually that goes back to where I want you to be, which is my home base. Okay. And again, I know I'm kind of getting really, really deep in the weeds here, defining it. I have a feeling you're all kind of going, yeah, we know, Nick, what's the point? I have to just drill this into your heads because I think a lot of authors, they kind of start thinking of this in terms of making Amazon their online platform, right? Well, let me just focus on making my book package there, the cover, description, titles, all the pricing, everything, my home base, my online platform. Well, I understand why, because it's easier to focus on something if you don't have, an entire website to think about. You just have one space on some rented land, right? The challenge is, again, you don't control it. You can't control how they're going to show your book or other books on your page. You have no control over that, right? We all know that there's sponsored ads all over every Amazon page now. And frankly, you don't have as much control over your long-term career if you're pointing people to Amazon or, Google, whatever their bookstore is now, Apple Books, one of these other places that you want to sell your books on. So I'm not saying don't ever put up a Facebook ad that sends people to Amazon to buy your book. I do that, right? But neither one of those are my home base. Neither one of those are my platform. My platform starts and ends on my website, and I believe yours should too. Okay, so an outpost is anything that's not your core home base, your core platform. You can focus on them at certain points. You can build out an Amazon profile, an Author Central page. You can build out a Facebook group, focus on it, but understand that eventually you want to get people over to your platform. You want to get them to sign up to your mailing list, which again should be a core component of that platform. Does this make sense, right? So all these different outposts you can choose to build. There's no problem with that, right? There's no problem in going and trying to engage people on Twitter. There's no issue with trying to build an Instagram channel or whatever they call them. And just trying to get some readership. There's no problem putting up a book talk on, a profile on TikTok when you're trying to engage with people, doing book talk stuff. Nothing wrong with that, okay, except when it pulls focus away from your platform. So the point is, and this is what I would ask, if I'm coaching you, and you're talking about, I don't social media. I just hate social media. I don't want to do all this stuff. I've been building this Facebook page out for so many years, and I'm just really trying to get the engagement up, and I'm exhausted. I don't know what else to do. I'm going to say, great. What does your website look like? What's your platform look like? Let's go look at it. Right? Okay. Scary. Yeah. Let's go check out that website. Let's go look at your platform. This is your home base. It should be. So is it evident that I'm on your owned land? I'm going onto into your house now. Or does it just kind of look like a quick website that you set up on Wix.com? Nothing against Wix or Squarespace. They're great tools, but you don't own them, right? I hope you're getting this. I know it's kind of weird talking about it in this way. It could be, or maybe you're right on the same page. But the point is, if you don't have that, you're not building a career as quickly as you could be. That's just plain and simple. That's it. If you don't have, and you'll see why as we get into this a little bit. I can explain that a little bit better. But trust me, I've been doing this for 15, maybe 20 years now, right? Building websites and understanding that a website is the foundation for a platform, but there's all this stuff that you can do with it that makes it your platform that you can't do anywhere else. You can't build that on Facebook. You can't build it on Twitter. You can't build it on Amazon. You can use all those things as outposts, but if you don't have the core foundational home base platform, you're missing out. Your career is just not going to work as fast or as well as you want it to. Okay. So it's really, really important that you get this. I don't want to do too much more on that because I think I'm just keep saying the same thing in different ways, which is sort of the point. But I have a whole book I wrote on this. If you want it, I'll give it to you for free. Just ask me. It's called Indie Mastery. It was that same book that I wrote called Welcome Home. Then I changed the name to Build a Platform or something like that, some dumb name. And then I rewrote it again and released it as Indie Mastery, or Platform Mastery maybe. I don't know. I don't even know the names of my books. But it's all in there, right? And I just talk about, hey, here's what it is. Here's an outpost. Here's a home base. Here's a platform. And then I get into how to build out a website a little bit. So we're going to talk about that because a website, I believe, is that foundational aspect of a platform. Okay? If you're not focusing on any of these things, that's where you start. Okay? If you're just like, well, I just don't even know what to do first. Build a platform. Build a website. Make sure you own it completely with your domain name, all that stuff, right? But it's your platform. Don't do anything else. Don't worry about Book Talk. Don't worry about Snapple Doodle Pop Chat, whatever it's called. Just build a platform first. Get that website up. Build it out as if this is your pride and joy, right? You put all this work and effort into that book. Do it for your platform because all of your books are going to show up there. All of the people finding you online need to come back there. So it's going to be, it's pretty important. Okay. It's that important to me. And again, if you go look at mine, I'm in the early stages of redesigning it for the 15th time or whatever. Like it's hardly what it's going to be in a few months when I finally finish doing this next iteration. But the point is it's a collection of everything of me online. And it's kind of this guided journey through my stuff in the order that I want you to check it out. I'll have some pop-up ads that'll come up, or not pop-up ads, but pop-ups that'll ask you to sign up for a mailing list and all that. But there's all these things that I can do because I own it, right? It's mine. It's my platform. I can do whatever I want. So if you're a reader and you're coming to my website, you will. I saw a comment and then I lost a comment. Sorry, guys. Anyway, if you're coming to my website as a reader, you're going to get. Immediately, you're going to know you're in the right place. Okay, well, I can find all his books here. It looks like he's done some nonfiction stuff, but I really care about this fiction stuff, and I'm going to sign up to his mailing list so I can get these 3 free books and that kind of thing. On the other hand, if you're a nonfiction person, like one of you guys listening, I'm talking to you as an author, you can go there and you'll see, oh, this guy does some coaching. This guy does some courses. I see that he does fiction, but I'm really here for the courses. Do you see how that works? Right? People can kind of self-select as they go to your platform. So don't worry about, spreading yourself too thin or making your website too many different things. Yeah, it needs to be clean and simple. Yeah, follow design rules or standards as much as you can to the best of your ability, or hire somebody to do it for you. But the point is, don't not do it because you're worried that people are going to get lost when they're there. Okay, that's one of the big problems that I hear authors bring up. Well, yeah, but I got so much stuff. I don't really know how to put it all on one website. Well, do it anyway. Make your homepage simple and just link out to other stuff on that website so people can kind of self-select as they go. Does that make sense? So they get there, you get a hero graphic, which is that big banner up on top of your face smiling and holding up your book, or if you're anonymous, a stock photo, whatever it is, and then say, hey, welcome here. Clearly I'm an author. And people can see that, and then they can drill down and say, okay, well, I'm gonna go look at your nonfiction stuff because that's what I'm interested in, or I'm gonna go look at your fiction stuff because that's what I want. You can do all that stuff, right? You can set it up because you control it. I hope that's not too many times. Okay. Here's the 3 big reasons why I think we should be focusing on our platform. Okay, all the stuff I just described, all the stuff I just said. Here's the big reasons why. First of all, it's required. What do I mean by that? Well, it's required in the sense that your readers, your fans, your agent, your future publisher, me, your coach, whoever, is going to need it. They're gonna look for it. They're gonna want it. They're gonna expect it, right? If I'm looking for Stephen King, I'm gonna go to his website. Sure, I may come across his Twitter, profile because he tweets all the time about stuff. That's great. That's an outpost. But if I'm really wanting to know who this guy is, I'm going to go to the source, which is the place that he's set up, that he's in charge of. Now, I know he probably didn't build his own website. He had somebody do it for him, but he's in control of that. It's required. It's something that we all, collectively, humans, the world, who want to find you, are going to expect. So it's required. Hope that makes sense. Second thing is it's singular. This is a big, big reason why I'm telling you to focus on it. It's one thing. It's just one thing. Yeah, it's a big thing, and building a website isn't nothing. But it's just one thing. I don't want you worried about building out a Facebook page and a Twitter profile, or even worried about that Amazon sales page. Let me give you a little secret. Amazon knows how to do it already. They don't need your help, right? Get your book up there. Make sure your book cover looks good. Give it a good title. Put it in the right genre. Put a description. Have ChatGPT write a book blurb. It doesn't matter, right? Then just let Amazon do it. Don't be fiddling with, your author profile page, or if you go to my author page on Amazon, you'll see the cool boxes, right, where it's like, oh yeah, well, it's got the banner and Nick Decker writes all this stuff. I did that because I already have the platform. Now I want to go focus on this outpost called Amazon. If you don't have that, if you haven't started on any of that stuff, get the platform done first, guys. It's one thing to focus on. Okay, so if I talk to you in 1 year from now, and you're like, yeah, man, my career's been doing really well. I'm gonna say, cool. Did you have a platform then, And if chances are, if your career is doing really well, you do, and you've been building that out, and you've been focused on that. It's one thing to focus on. Okay. Third thing, it's possible. Okay, I just want to give you a little bit of a little pick me up here. We're gonna get into the details of how to do this just a little bit. I'm not gonna teach you how to build a website right now. At least, the full shebang, because I just can't do that in half an hour. But it's possible to do this, okay? Even if you're not a web designer. David, I saw your comment about, and I lost it. I don't know where it went. That's the one that disappeared. So put it up there again, maybe? If you have, because I do want to answer that, and that's kind of what I'm going to get into next, but I want to make sure I'm answering it the right way. But this is possible, guys. Whether you hire somebody else to do it or you do it yourself, it's 2023 right now. I mean, it's possible. You don't have to learn HTML, right? You don't have to go figure out how to code, do JavaScript or, CSS or anything like that. You certainly can, and that's not going to hurt you to know that kind of stuff, but it's possible. I just want you to hear that. So don't think that, hey, I'm talking about platforms and, oh man, I thought this was going to be something else. Turns out Nick just wants me to build a website. Yeah, I do. It's not that hard, guys. It's possible. I mean, I shouldn't say it's not. It is. There's some challenge there, right? It's difficult. It's a big project. I'm not just going to say, hey, 10 minutes from now, you can have your shiny new website that has everything you ever wanted. No, there's some difficulty in this, but it's not hard. It's possible, okay? So those are the three big reasons. You need to be focused on building that platform, specifically in the form of a website, okay? So, David, here's the answering your question. You're not artistic. Go to Fiverr. No, don't do that. I work with some people on Fiverr, and they're great. The problem is, you're going to have to go through a lot of what's the phrase? Chaff. You got to go through the weeds to get to the roses. I don't know. There's probably a phrase here that would work, but you got to go through 5 billion Fiverr people to find one that's going to be good enough at a good price point. And it's not all $5 anymore. The guys that are really good at this stuff aren't going to cost $5, but they're going to cost more money than you probably want to spend. They don't know you from Adam, right? So they don't necessarily have your best interests at heart. They want to get the money, give you a good website. Again, not a bad thing to do if you're really familiar with Fiverr and you've used some people before. But no, I don't recommend doing Fiverr. If you've never built a website before, you can use something like Squarespace or Wix or even the WordPress.org, I think is the one that hosts it for you. But you need to make sure that as much as possible, you're not getting locked into their proprietary system, right? So some examples with this, I know WordPress intimately. I always self-install WordPress, meaning I put it on my own host. I actually rolled my own Ubuntu server, and all, so you can do that if you know what I'm talking about, or just go get shared hosting somewhere, put up your own website, your WordPress site. A lot of them have one-click installs for it, but if you go the hosted route where WordPress does all that for you, they'll lock you out of certain plugins, right? Or if you go to even more expensive, fancy WordPress hosting like WP Engine, they lock you out of certain plugins that you can't use. You just can't install certain things, so you don't own it, right? Squarespace, Wix, same thing. They look great and they work. You can even get your own domain name and tie it there. No one actually knows that you're on Squarespace, and that's fine if that's where you have to start. But chances are there's something you're not going to be able to do that you eventually want to do one day. Maybe it's as simple as like installing an email form plugin that you can't do, or an HTML form that just doesn't render the right way because you can't pop the hood and fix CSS. If you don't know what I'm talking about, don't worry. Here's what to do. Go get a WordPress website, okay? Self-hosted. So go buy shared hosting somewhere, or managed WordPress hosting or something, but make sure that you can install WordPress and it's their zip file WordPress, like it's their package that you can download. Not wordpress.org, I think it's .org, maybe it's .com, where they host it for you, okay? Go do that and just start playing with it. This is a tool that you probably should need to learn how to use, okay? It's not the end all be all of website design, but if you know how to use WordPress, you're 80% there. Like all these other tools, they're not WordPress, right? Squarespace isn't the same, but it's got the same sort of functionality. And so once you know where something is in WordPress and how to do it, then you can go to Squarespace one day or build your own website one day, and you'll kind of know, oh, I remember WordPress did this. I need to just kind of find this there. How do I do that? Is this making sense? Go get WordPress because I believe it's the easiest one. I also believe I know that it's got everything you possibly could want by way of plugins or just right out of the box, and it's very well well talked about. What's that? Documented. So you go build a WordPress website and you get stuck on something, you Google it and you find an answer immediately. And it takes some time to go through and understand what someone's talking about. But the point is, yeah, Dave, there's WordPress tutorials on YouTube. There's all this stuff everywhere about WordPress. It powers something like 30% of the internet is on WordPress. So it's huge. It's a big deal. You talk to like a web guy, they're going to be, oh, I don't like WordPress. I'd like to roll my own bespoke. That's great. Let them do that, okay? If you're going to pay them $1,000 to build a website, let them do it however they want. The point is, if you don't know any of this stuff, WordPress is your answer because it's easy, it's well documented, it's safe and secure as long as you keep everything up to date, and it's going to be perfectly fine for an author platform. More than fine. It will do everything you need to do. Go check out any of my websites. Anything that I've ever built, guess what? It's on WordPress. Yep, there you go. So it's all WordPress stuff. If you are still freaking out and you're like, it's too much. You can pay me to do it. I'll build this thing for you. Give me $500. I'll put up a WordPress website for you. I'll tell you exactly what I'll do. Okay. And you can just do this. You don't even have to pay me. I'll just tell you how to do it. I will put it on a host. I have my own server, right? I've got my own host. I maintain all of it. So you're not on HostGator or HostMonster or Host GoDaddy, whatever. So it's me. I'll do it. I'll maintain it. And I will install WordPress, and then I will install a theme called Divi. So all these engines have themes, right? Which is just how the website looks. WordPress has the most because they've been around for the longest, but WordPress also now has themes that are actually more than just a theme. They're actually a framework, is what we call them. And that means that, even though you're just downloading and installing a theme from the WordPress theme repository, is what they call it, you're actually building this, you're using it something called a framework, which is it's like a theme of themes. It's like a drag and drop engine to design your website. Okay. And the best part is they have templates within the framework. So I use one called Divi, D-I-V-I. It's by Elegant Themes, elegantthemes.com. I think it's like $34 a year. So if you pay me money, that's all I'm going to do. And I don't mean that to say like I'm not going to actually do the work. I'll set it up. I'll make it look nice. I'll make it great, but it's very, very simple. I'm just going to do that. I'm just going to install Divi, and I'm going to give you a nice template in Divi, and I'll do a lot of work to make it look good and design it and everything like that. But the point is you can do all this yourself, okay? If you don't have time or you just don't care, you just don't want it, and you have the money, then yeah, you can pay me or someone else. We can do it for you. But I'm just telling you this because this isn't, I don't want this to feel challenging for you. Does that make sense? I'm trying to remove those barriers because I hear all these authors talk about, I'm going to go use Facebook's tools to build no, don't do that. That's an outpost. You don't control that. If you don't have a platform, build it on your own website on WordPress. Okay. Go get a domain, Google how to attach it to that new shiny website, that WordPress website you're building, and go from there. One step at a time. Learn how to be a web developer. It's not that hard. 2023. It's not that bad. Okay, so Divi theme, they have another one. There's another one called Elementor, which is a pretty popular one. I just prefer Divi. It doesn't matter though. Go get a framework, something that is a little bit bigger, more robust than just a theme. And what you'll find is by paying for something like Divi, which is I think $34 a year, really not that much. What you'll find though is that now you're paying somebody to like keep it up to date, keep it developed, right? So if you just go get a free theme from WordPress, chances are you don't know the guy who built it, and they're not going to keep it updated. So you can introduce security vulnerabilities 10 years from now when PHP has advanced enough to, sorry, I'm getting off track. But the point is, with something like Divi or Elementor, you're paying them money to actually, sorry, I saw David's comment. You're paying them money to actually keep this thing up to date for you. So it's very, very valuable in that sense. Same reason why you would pay me to do this, right? You're paying me to maintain and keep everything up to date, keep everything secure, keep the hackers away. All that stuff is part of that cost, right? I'm not trying to sell my services here. I'm just trying to say this is what we people who build websites do. So if you do find someone on Fiverr, this is what you're going to pay for, or this should be what you pay for. Yeah, you want them to design it. Yeah, you want them to make it look good and include the form to get people on your email list and all the basic stuff. Sure, but this is really what you're looking for. Okay, so go do that. Go get a WordPress website if you don't know where to start. If you already have a platform like a basic website, focus on it. My dogs are losing their mind. Focus on it. Build it out and make it your home base on the internet. Okay, it's singular. It's one thing to focus on. If you got nothing else, or you're spread too many different directions, stop it. Just focus on this one thing. It's one thing, okay? It's a big thing, but it's one thing. It's possible. Like I said, I've just told you how to do it. I know that's oversimplifying a lot of things, but it's not hard, guys. It's just a lot of little tiny steps. Buy that domain. How do you do that? Well, Google. How do I buy a domain? You'll end up on GoDaddy or HostGator or one of these places that sells domains, register.com. Go buy a domain. Okay, well then how do I attach it to the website? Well, guess what? When you buy the domain, they'll offer to sell you a website too. They'll probably offer to sell you shared hosting or something like that, right? Or they'll offer to at least show you how to attach it to your WordPress site. It's called an A record. Your DNS records all point to this. That's how you do it. Go figure that stuff out. And then, okay, well now you got this domain name. Well, okay, I need hosting and I need to install WordPress on it. Go Google, how do I put WordPress on HostMonster? Or how do I put WordPress on GoDaddy? Again, they'll try to sell you something or they'll show you all the different options. You can pick one and then go build it and go put it up there. Okay, great. Well, now what do I do? Well, go get Divi or Elementor or one of these frameworks that lets you install on your own any particular theme and have some drag and drop functionality and all that stuff. Just one step at a time, but focus on that. And then finally, as I said first, it's required. Okay, if you don't have one, if you don't have a platform, you don't have any home base, you don't have a website, you don't have the book career that you could. It's plain and simple. It's just the truth. It's just the way it is. I know how frustrating it is to think of this stuff and be like, well, I just don't want to advertise. Yeah, okay, well, I don't either, but you just have to. That's just the way it is. I don't want an online platform. Great. Go sell books out of the back of the trunk of your car. Why are you here? What we're talking about in this, and what I'm always going to say, and I know it sounds like tough love, it is. It's just the way the world is right now. It's just the way the world works. If you want a book career, if you want a career writing and selling fiction, you obviously got to write fiction and you got to sell the fiction. And this is how you do it. You have an online platform. Is this making sense? My good friend Ernie, who I'm often accused of being the same person as, I'm not. We are two different people, but you didn't hear it from me. I love the way he says it. If you want to sell donuts, you got to make the donuts. If you want to sell books, you got to write the books. And the way to sell them is with a platform. Okay, cool. Okay, I mean that's about it. I know that there's some details in there that I've not covered. Guys, I'm building a course right now on how to build a website. Okay, so if you just hang tight, it'll probably be 6 months, but hang tight. If you want that, you know how much my courses cost. They're super affordable. But I'll teach all that stuff. I'll show you how to do it step by step. I'll literally walk you through the process. At the end of it, I'll also sell you on something if you just don't want to do it. I'll just be like, and I don't mean sell you like you got to do this. I'm just saying I have a done for you option. So if you're just listening to me talking and you're just like, I don't know, man, I just don't care. I don't want to do any of that stuff. I do need a platform. Ping me. Let me know. I'll build one for you. Okay. what, $500? Is that what I said? I'll do it for $500. Set up the website, make it look nice, make it pretty, and then I'll turn you loose. I'll be like, here's how you go learn how to do this on your own. Here's how you design your Divi framework theme, all that stuff. But I'll host it for you, and we can talk. Okay. I'm probably just getting myself in trouble by saying I'll do this. I've never even thought about doing this, but I am doing a course, and so there's more detail if you're curious about the website thing. Hang tight. Other than that, let's talk about the platform. You guys have questions? I think drop them in there. Drop them in the comments. This was a little kind of all over the place today because I'm trying to both separate the term platform from the term website and also kind of make them the same thing, right? Because a platform online is a website that you own, but it's not as simple as just putting up any website. I have a website. Okay, great. But that's not necessarily a platform unless you've focused on it and built it out to be a platform. Does that make sense? I hope it makes sense. It probably doesn't make sense. That's okay. Ask me a question. Drop them there in the comments. If you have something, let me know. Anything I didn't cover, let me know. Anything you want to talk about related to platforms, let me know. Yeah, David, but I want to write. Okay, yeah. Hey, well, you have to. There's no other way around it. You got to still write. This is what, I'm in the middle of doing some coaching with someone, and this is the issue, right? It's like, well, there's not enough time to write. Well, I know. Well, you got to write. You got to write the books first, even before you can talk about the platform. But if you have nothing else to focus on, write the books. Figure out how you can get that daily, weekly schedule in of writing. And then the only other thing you need to focus on is building a platform first. Just don't worry about anything else yet. Okay. The reason I'm successful now is not because I'm doing all of these things at once. It's because I focused on writing books. I didn't know any better. I didn't have anything else to do. Let me just write some books. See, let's make that, right? Yeah, I got lucky, right? There's some books that did better than other books, and that worked for me. At the same time, as I started writing more books and kind of developed that rhythm, that schedule, where it became, I'm not going to say easy. It's not easy to write a book, but like it became part of the routine. Then I started adding things in. Well, what did I add in? This was where it wasn't luck at all. I knew exactly what to do next, and that was, let me focus on my platform. All right. So don't think that I'm just like, I did see someone's comment. Well, yeah, you coach and you get to do the courses. When do you sleep? Well, I actually get a lot of sleep because it's super important. Most people think that they can get by on 6-7 hours of sleep. Guess what? You can't. The science is in, and it is not something that is up for debate. If you are functioning well on 3 hours of sleep at night, you will function so much better on 8 hours of sleep. This isn't about sleep. We can talk about sleep. I get a ton of sleep because I have a rhythm and a routine, and I'm very good at managing my energy, but only because I've practiced managing my energy. Part of that is, when do I write? Okay, I don't actually use my fingers to write anymore. I dictate 100% of the time. Why? Because it's faster, more efficient, and I like it. But I've trained myself to like it, right? And so then now I have time freed up. So when I would be writing, if I can write 1,000 words an hour, I can dictate 5,000 words an hour, right? So I just 5x'd my routine. So now I can still write for an hour a day, but I've got 5,000 words written where, you might only have 1,000, okay? So then I can use those other 4 hours to do the things like this, doing live streams, courses, coaching, whatever. Peter asked earlier, so don't build the table legs until you have the tabletop ready. Boom. I've actually built the table, and this is accurate. Yes. Don't build the table legs until you have the tabletop ready. I did this the hard way. I bought the table legs on Amazon, and I built the tabletop, and then I realized that I bought what's the little side table, the end table legs, like 16 inches instead of whatever. Cool. So, yeah. Let me go back in here. Randall says VAs will buy you time, but you still need a platform for them to leverage on your behalf. Absolutely. Yeah. A virtual assistant, personal assistant, the VA PA thing. Absolutely, man. If you are outsourcing something, it needs to be something that is not your platform. What I mean is you can have somebody build you a website. You can pay me to build a website for you, but you shouldn't turn over running that platform to somebody. First of all, because you can't. They just don't. They're not you. They don't know your career. They don't know what you want or need or how to do it. And they never can. They never can never. It's just not going to work. Your platform has always got to be yours, right? That's why I say focus on your writing and focus on your platform. You can have everybody ghostwrite your books and then have, somebody like run your platform for you. But what's the point? That's not your career then. You're not here because you want to learn how to not write books and sell them. You want to actually write the book. I'm guessing, what you like and enjoy doing. With the platform, same sort of thing, right? It's your website. You control it. You need to control it. You can't outsource that. Yeah, Wes says, my wife is from the Philippines, so I'm familiar with the abilities of the people here. They are some of the most incredible, technically gifted people on the planet that I've ever worked with. They're usually a lot less expensive than someone in the United States or in a lot of places in the Western world. And I mean, that's great because you can change their life by paying them well, right? Because it doesn't have to cost as much money as trying to do that here. So I'm kind of talking around this, but the subject that comes up a lot, and when Fiverr was first coming around, was this race to the bottom. Like, oh, we're just giving people pennies, and we're just, well, here, look, they don't have to work, right? They don't have to get on Fiverr and put their shingle out, and they don't have to put a price on what their services cost. So the fact that they do, and it's less expensive than the United States, means that you get to change their life by paying them good money because they've said, this is what I want to get paid for this. Does this make sense? Okay. This isn't what this is about. I don't want to go into that. I'm a big fan of using people overseas, of outsourcing this stuff, because I've found that people are people. And it doesn't matter what language they speak or where they are. They like the same things that I like. They have the same passions and interests and hobbies that I do. And so it's really cool to work with people that are a completely different lifestyle than me. And I don't have to pay a whole lot of money comparatively to hire somebody here in the United States as I do them, and everyone's happy. Great. That's a win-win-win, right? Cool. So here's a question, Natalie. Because we interact with people on all the outposts, what's the best way to get them over to the website? So this is, I'm glad you asked that because it's a great question. The answer is it depends. It doesn't matter really. This all goes back to, what do you like to do? How does it work best in your mind? Because I want to keep things simple as much as possible. I don't want to overcomplicate stuff. And what actually works. So digging into that, it said, so and you've even said, even my mailing list subs are directed to BookFunnel, not my website, from ads, although book back matter points them to website. How do we migrate people from Facebook to the website? Look, so you're getting the mailing list subscribers through BookFunnel, right? So you don't have to always go directly back to your website. That's why I said it starts and ends on your website, on your home base, on your platform. So, for example, in this case, you've got the subscriber. So then that first email you can send to them will say, "Here's my website. Go check it out." Right? If you're using ads, like you said, BookFunnel lets you use the Facebook pixel. Make sure you're doing that because that's just another way of getting data collected. So in the future, when you want to go do an advertisement on Facebook, you can pull from that pixel data. Does it make sense? We're not talking about ads today, but that's just, keep that in mind. Just another way of collecting that data so that one day you can say, hey, come back over to this platform that I've built because it's all my stuff. So going back to your question, Natalie, the best way is the way that makes sense for you. That's working. And what was the third thing I said? I don't remember. That's not overcomplicated probably. So if you're talking outposts, let's say Twitter. Okay, let's say you have a Twitter profile and you're tweeting a lot and you're talking about how awesome Trump is all the time because that's everything that I think that's all that's on Twitter anymore, honestly. And you're saying, hey, if you really like Trump, also you can buy my books. I don't know, sorry guys. Then you can go and give them and see, now I'm all over the place. I can't even think anymore. Sorry. Let's say you're on Twitter and you're interacting with the reader and you want to get them over to your website. You drop a link. You just say, here's my website, right? Usually, though, like you said, there's purpose behind this, right? You want to get them subscribed to a mailing list. Well, drop the link directly to BookFunnel to give them that free book offer. Or if you use Story Origin, drop that link instead. It doesn't really matter. Just don't overcomplicate it. You don't need a hop link, right? Really, where you go in Twitter and then you hop through another third-party website, then that goes to your website. You don't have to do that. If it makes sense to you and you're a data person and you really love seeing the analytics, you can use a hop thing. Like WordPress, for example, has a plugin called Pretty Links, which I use. Totally free. They have a pro version, but I use the free one. And that's like the short link. So nickthacker.com/TES. goes to the Enigma strain with my affiliate link on Amazon. But the point is I can use that, a service like that, or Genius Link is a good one, to hop basically collecting data in between. If none of this is making sense, guess what? Don't worry about it. Just on your Outpost, set up a link, point it back to your mailing list, point it back to your home base, whatever you want to do. I think I've hit that one plenty of times. Jessica asks, what are your thoughts on managing multiple pen names? Should they be separated into multiple websites or combined in one? That's a good question. I believe, for me personally, I want to keep it simple. I'm going to have everything on that home base be me, including the pen names. But there are good reasons not to do it that way. If you have completely different pen names, one's erotica and one's like, children's, that might be a good thing. I don't think children's erotica. Never mind. I'm not going to go there. I keep those separate. Sure. That makes perfect sense. But yes, you are now going to have to manage 2 home bases, 2 platforms. Making sense? Which is double the work. So you just need to decide, do you want to have a home base that's like a portal that's like, hey, look, here's everything that I write. It's children's, and then there's erotica here. Click which one you want to go to, enter at your own risk. You can do that. You can absolutely have one home base for all those things because you're still you. It's all coming out of your head. So there's a good chance that there's somebody else out there like you who likes the 2 things that you write. You don't have to run every single thing to all of your lists, right? So if you have people who sign up for your children's books over here and people who sign up for the erotica series over here, they don't all have to go into the same mailing list. You can still have one platform and just have 2 newsletter subscribers or signups and run 2 different pen names that way. Making sense? I hope so. Okay. Nobody write children erotica. Please don't do that. I don't know. Probably just going to get banned on Facebook for saying that. All right, coming up on the end here. I hope that covers some stuff. There's a lot of things in this one today I didn't realize would be in this thing today. And I'm not talking about children's erotica and talking about Trump. I'm talking about the fact that it is kind of squishy to define platform separately than a website. But it's not just a website. It is a website, but it's more than that. And it needs to be more than that. You need to treat it like it's your end-all be-all on the internet. And it doesn't have to be crazy. It doesn't have to be fancy, super complicated. It just needs to be there. It needs to be something you control, you own. Okay. So I think we're done. Thank you very much for the comments, especially you, Douglas Pratt, your comment. Matt, I don't know what you're talking about. Pub platforms. What's the question? Sorry, I don't. Amanda asked if you have a platform, getting banned on Facebook won't hurt. Right. Yeah, exactly. You own it. You control it. So if Facebook's like, hey, Banhammer, boom, done. Well, guess what? I have a website and a big mailing list, and I've been cultivating that for years, and I own those things. That's the platform. So that's just another benefit. You control it. You get to do whatever you want. Okay, cool. Well, thanks, guys. I really appreciate you being here. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Drop in the comments any other questions that you may have, and we can go and talk about something else next week. Hopefully this is helpful to you. Hopefully this serves you well. Let me know what you think, and we will see you next week.